Okay guys, what's going on? So this video is going to be doing the smoke switch with the edge comp on my 99 Cummins. So first thing you want to do, disconnect the batteries, just both negative terminals, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so both batteries are disconnected, and next thing, as you can see way down in there, that's my map sensor hooked up to the edge comp. So you want to go ahead and unplug those two cables, because then it's going to be a lot easier to get out. And yeah, okay, so we got the edge comp harness unplugged. This is the plug that goes into your map sensor, and this is the one that plugs into the other end of the map sensor. And these two, this brown wire is the one you're going to tap, and this white one on the outside that goes to your map sensor. So all you need for this, I know I did a video saying what you needed with the resistor and all that, but that's just going to be if you don't have an edge comp. If you do have an edge comp, all you need is 2 wire taps and just some wire, some 16 or 18 gauge wire, and a switch as well. So yeah, so you just tap this white wire going out of the map sensor and this brown wire going out of the map sensor, and tap them with your wire that you have laying around, and I will be right back showing with that all done. Okay, so got my 2 lengths of wire. Gonna tap them. So I'm just gonna stick one end in the back of this, like that, and then the edge wire in the front. All the way back. There you go. That's the white wire tapped. I just gotta tap another one. It doesn't matter what order you do these in. Doesn't matter what end goes to the switches, as far as I know. Okay, so the sensor's all plugged back in. I got my 2 lengths of wire running off of it. And now we're gonna feed it through the firewall. And where I'm gonna feed it is I've got another couple switches and other wires that are already in the truck. So I'm gonna feed it through the same place, which is right through where those red wires are going. And then I'm gonna feed those in through the dash, and I'm gonna drill a hole in the plastic on the dash and then run the switch up through there. Okay, so we're back. I basically just took off this whole bottom piece, because then it's going to be easier to drill a hole. I'm going to drill it somewhere in here. It's just three little Phillips on the bottom here that holds it on, and it just falls right off. It just clips in everywhere else. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and drill a hole somewhere in here to put the smoke switch into. So it'll be sitting right there. Okay. Okay, so I drilled the hole for the smoke switch. It's all in there nicely. It's gonna sit pretty low once it's in, as you can see, but I didn't really mind, because the way that it was sitting, like, I didn't want to drill all the way through this, and I didn't want to drill up here, because then it's gonna mess with the whole thing sitting there. So I'm fine with that. It doesn't matter what ends these wires go on, because it's just a hot to hot switch, so you're basically just connecting them. And yeah, I just used little connectors there and crimped them together and screwed them on, so it's all good to go. I guess the next step is just putting this back on and getting everything bolted back in, and then I can show you guys if it does anything. I don't know if it is going to do anything or not. I'm hopeful that it will, but right now it doesn't even smoke that much, and I've got my edge comp and I've got a Raptor 150 lift pump in there, so I don't have any gauges, so I might need to turn the fuel pressure up. But yeah, so we'll see if this does anything. Okay, so in my last video, or just a couple minutes ago, I was showing you guys how to make the smoke switch by tapping those 2 wires, which I mounted the switch right there. And that was I have the edge comp, and I tapped, as you can see back here, there's an orange wire, and I tapped the white wire, which is the power wire. And this is how I was told to do it. I've looked at all the forum posts on Cummins forum and all the other forums telling me how to make a smoke switch, and I couldn't really find a proper answer for my year with the edge comp for a 99. I found stuff for 2001, 2002, but not the 98.5s to 2000. So I figured out my way of doing it, which is basically just unplugging the map sensor. I've tried a whole bunch of different combinations. I have the Raptor 150, which didn't give it any more smoke. As you can see, my back window is starting to smoke up now, so you know it's working. And yeah, so even on 5x5, it was only smoking like a little puff when I started it up. And now, since I figured out this smoke switch, it actually does smoke quite a bit more by just unplugging the map sensor. But I'm going to try to do it without getting engine codes. And I'm going to show you guys how I did that. And so this is going to be for anyone who has the 98.5s to 2000 with the edge comp. Without the edge comp, you can refer to my first video saying all the materials you need by soldering in a resistor, and you need a proper amp switch and a fuse and a fuse holder. And yeah, so let's get to it. So once again, first thing you want to do is disconnect the negative terminals on the batteries, just to stop any screwing with your ECM, which mine is already screwed because there's a check engine light, but that's because I was testing out things on what worked and what didn't with the map sensors. So yeah, step one, 1/2 wrench, disconnect your battery terminals. So now that that's done, you want to go and unhook your map sensor from your edge comp, both connections, and I'll do that right now and show you guys what the wires look like. Okay, so this mess that you're looking at right now, this will work if you have a 2001 or 2002 Cummins with the edge comp. This will work for your smoke switch, which is the one tap on the signal wire, or this is the signal wire, the brown is the signal wire to your ECM, and this white one is your power wire. Now, what I'm going to do is, because after testing things, I found that I made a lot more smoke with the map unplugged, is I'm just going to I'm going to take this tap off the orange wire and just cut the white wire in half. Just cut the white wire in half and run each end to a switch. So that when I'm going to flip the switch upside down in my truck so that when it's down, it's on all the time, but when I flip it up, it's essentially cutting power to the map sensor, and that's what's going to give it more smoke. Now, this will set engine code. I think it's if you leave it for more than 10 or 15 seconds. But if you have an automatic, like, this will work great for 5 speeds or 6 speeds. But if you have an automatic, it's only going to make smoke for, I don't know, 10 seconds if you're just romping on it right from the get-go. So once boost builds up, it won't have any smoke. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this white wire here. If you look at the sensor, that's the white wire, the bottom right, if it's facing down, and if it's facing up, it's the top left. So yeah, just cut that wire in half and run each end to a switch. Doesn't matter what end of the switch, because it's just a hot-to-hot switch. No ground. So yeah, I'll be right back with that. So after I took my wire taps off, I had realized that they weren't going completely through. So I'm thinking that maybe they weren't making a very good contact. So now I've gone and take my wire crimper things to bare the wire. I'm actually going to try this again with the wire bared and making sure I have really good connections. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so now I've rechecked all these wires. I'm pretty confident that they're good connections now, so now I'm gonna go ahead and plug these back in. Okay, so we're all plugged in, ready to go. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and plug the batteries back in. And give it a shot, and hopefully this did fix it, but then I'll feel kind of like an idiot because I just didn't have it on, the taps on good enough, but we'll see. So now, since I redid those taps, when I had the switch off and would just go right from the stop and then just shove on it, it would give me more smoke than when I would just stop and shove on it with the smoke switch on. So for whatever reason, whatever I did, like redoing the bearing of the wires, made it smoke more when the switch is off. I'm not sure why that is. So I'm just gonna go ahead and undo those taps and then just cut the signal lead, just cut it in half, and then just run each end to a wire, I think, because it doesn't make sense the way it is right now, because when the switch is off, they aren't connected and it should be running like normal, but then when I flip the switch on, they should connect, and that's when the smoke is supposed to happen. But when it's off, it's making more smoke. So I am stumped on that one, but all I know is that for sure is that it made more smoke when the map sensor going to the engine block of the edge comp is unplugged. So just knowing that, I'm just gonna cut that white wire that I showed you guys before in half and run each end to a switch, and we'll see how that turns out. Okay, so I've got the wire taps off. So once again, I'm just gonna cut this white wire, which is the lead of the 5-volt power. Yeah, so I'm gonna cut that white wire, run either end of it to the red wire that was tapping these before, and if for whatever reason this blows up in my face, well, you guys know not to do it. When I had the switch before, like just connected the way it was before, there was no check engine lights when the switch was off, and I never had the switch on for more than 10 seconds and it never came on, so that's a foolproof way. And I did get more smoke when the switch was off, tapping these two, and the check engine light never came on. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this, and hopefully it will be as good as the way it was before, or better. So there you go. Gone ahead. This white wire is now completely cut in half. Got them connected. So basically I'm just gonna connect these, and theoretically, if the switch is off, it's not connecting the circuit, so there should be a check engine light coming on with it off. So I need to flip the switch on, and that will keep the power going to it, and when it's off, that'll give me my smoke. So I'll see how that turns out. I really, really hope this is gonna work. No check engine light, good sign. So give it a rev here. A little bit of white smoke. Oh, and the check engine light is on now. Now I flick it off. Give it another rev, no smoke. Okay, so we're gonna see what happens when I take this down the road. Okay, so just did my test. It doesn't work. When I had it on, it completely defueled, and it felt like it was dying, so that didn't work. So I guess I did have it right. I just needed to bare the wires better when I had them connected with the taps, and yeah, when I had it off, there was no smoke at all, like zero, even on 5x5, and then when I had it on, there was just no power at all. So cutting the wire and running them to a switch did not do anything. So So the way I had it before was the correct way. Tapping them for like the 8th time. I may have screwed my truck up doing this. I won't know. Well, I'm gonna test it, I guess. And I pray that it is still going to be running fine after all this, because like I've messed with that wire so much, and hopefully my comp still works, and a lot of variables coming up to if this is gonna work or not, but we'll see. Okay, check engine is still on. Really hope that goes out, because I don't want to be stuck with that, but I think I've done everything else right. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so now when the switch is off, it smokes like normal, just a little bit. But when the switch is on, I get totally defueled and it goes into that no power limp mode thing. So I don't know, I'm guessing I'm gonna have to check my taps again. Okay guys, I've finally done it. Doesn't matter, no check engine light. This is the big thing. The switch is off and I get smoke. When I turn it on, that's what makes the check engine light come on, and I get less smoke. Does not matter what level of the edge comp is in, it's on 1 by 1 right now, and look at the smoke. I'm getting all the smoke on those revs. I never used to get that before. And that's on 1 by 1. If I go up to 3 by 5, sure. And then rev it. Exact same smoke. So it doesn't matter what level I'm in. It's gonna have the exact same effect. No check engine light. This is amazing. So I don't even need, I'm gonna leave the switch there obviously, but I don't even need to flick it on. It's just on all the time. So I'll always be making smoke if I rev it. Yeah, so I'll show you what I did under the hood. I had to do some really haggard wiring. Let me just turn this down first. 1 by 1. And you guys have seen that I've tried just about everything and I could not get this to work. So I've got my map sensor connections. Because when I cut this wire, it got way too short, and then part of it broke off, like all the little wires, copper wires inside broke off when I was burying them. So I had to find another piece of wire which I spliced into it, as you can see down there, going into the connection, and then I spliced the wire on the other side and just put a big length, this big white wire in between, and then tapped that with my regular wire, and then the same thing on the other side with the signal lead, the brown wire tapped with the red wire. So yeah, I've had it out there before, which you guys saw. You tap the brown wire and the white wire on the outside, and it does in fact work on the 2000s or the 1999s with the edge comp. So I guess that's it. I finally figured it out, and the only other way you can make it smoke more is putting a bag over your filter, which if you can see this, I did try that and it completely collapsed, shriveled up into nothing. This whole pipe shriveled down. Yeah, so I don't know, I might try it blocking half of the air off, maybe this top half of the air off, and limiting its air supply, and maybe that'll give me more smoke. But other than that, all you can do is injectors, which I probably will end up doing at some point. Putting in the Raptor 150 was a good idea. It doesn't give you any more smoke though. It just gives the injection pump the fuel it needs, so it's not starving it, and it'll make it last longer. So yeah, that's it for this video. I finally figured it out. I solved the mystery, and it is totally weird how it works, but it's actually awesome this way because the switch is always off. Never even need to worry about it, because when it's off, the check engine light is off, and that's all I care about, and it makes more smoke. It doesn't matter what level the edge is on, so it's great. I hope you guys really did learn something from this video, because this was a big learning curve to me. I just tapped random wires and tried everything until I figured out what was wrong with it. Yeah, so for all of you guys thinking that you might want to just cut the power wire, don't do that, because I have tried it and it just defuels at nothing, and it makes your truck go into limp mode and it just has no power. So yeah, there you guys go, how to make a smoke switch in a Cummins.